and it's very easy and it's very okay. You just need to listen very well to the video and you will get everything. So these are my measurements. We have the bust as 36, we have the waist as 28, nipple to nipple is 7, shoulder 16, under bust 13, bust point 10, and I forgot to add my half length. We have as what, 16. So let's proceed. So to begin, we are going to begin with our vertical measurements, but before that we are going to start with our shoulder, and our shoulder is actually our shoulder is 16 divided by 2, we have 8. And we are going to be using a neck width of 3.5, which is actually here. Then on this point, which is where we marked our 8, we are going to go down by 1 inch. The reason for this is to create a slope, because our shoulder is not all straight, it is in a slanted form. So we are going to connect this 1 inch we've gone down to this our neck width in order to create that slope. So after creating this slope, now we are going to proceed in taking our vertical measurements. And our vertical measurements, we have our chest line, our bust line, our under bust line, and our half length. So to get our chest line now, we can do that mathematically by dividing our bust by 6 plus 1.5. So if we divide our bust by 6, we are going to have 6 plus 1.5, we are going to get 7.5. So from this point here, we are going to come down by 7.5. So we're just going to draw a straight line to connect to that. After creating our chest line, we're going to give it a name here as what, chest line. So we are going to get our bust point, which is 10. Then we're going to go next by getting our under bust, which is 13. And lastly, we're going to get our half length, which is 16. So after that, we're just going to name them bust line, under bust, and half length. So the next thing we're going to do now is to connect this line down to our chest line. So we're going to connect this to our chest line. Then we'll create our armhole, and our armhole, we are going to take a measurement from here to here. We have 7.5 divided by 2, we're going to have 3.7, and 3.7, that's the midpoint. So we're going to mark here. Then from this midpoint, we're going to go in by what, 0.5, which is half inch. Then we're going to draw a curved line in order to connect our chest line. This entirely here gives our what, our armhole. So the next thing we are going to do now is to get our bust nipple to nipple point measurements. So our nipple to nipple in this video is what, 7. So 7 divided by 2, we have 3.5, plus 0.5 inch, we have 4, and that 0.5 inch we are adding is our allowance. So we're going to mark 4 on our bust line, on our under bust, and also our half length. So we're going to connect that now. So after, the next thing we're going to do now is to create our cup. And to create our cup in this, for the bust size we are using, we are going to, first of all, we are going to come in here by 0.5, that's the center front. So at 0.5 on the under bust line, 0.5 at the half length, that's for the center front. And we're going to connect it together. Then to create this cup now, we are going to go out by 1.5, that's for the bust size we are using, which is 36 inch. For some other bust size like 40 and the bigger bust, we can go in as 2 and 2.5 depending on the bust size. But for this medium size like 36 and 38, we'll be going out by what, 1.5 on the under bust and also at the what? Half length. So we're going to connect that now. So to create the cup, you will come down 1 inch from the bust line. After that, you connect it to the under bust in order to have that cup. You can as well use your French curve line so that you can get an accurate line. So after doing that, now you also connect this point to this place, which is our center front, like this. So to create that point, that line that actually proves to you that this is a princess dart, in order to create it, now we're going to first of all take our circumference for bust, which is actually 36 divided by 4. We have 9 inch. So here now we're going to what? Mark 9 at this point. So now we're going to take our tape and measure from this point to this point. That's the next step you're going to take. And after you do that, you're going to have what? 8.5. So in divide 8.5 divided by 2, you're going to have 4.2. So 4.2 now will be the midpoint for this. Will be the midpoint for this. So you're now going to what? Connect this line to this. But before that, you're going to come up by 0.5 each at the what? Bust line. You are going to come up by 0.5 inch at the bust line, which you are now going to extend it to this place and then connect it from here to here. So you're going to connect this now, this very point, which is our 4.2. We're going to connect it to this half inch we came up on our bust line. So we're going to have something like this. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is to create a dart, because at the princess dart we usually have a dart at this front part. So for the bust size I'm using, I'm going to take in a dart of 1 inch, and that 1 inch is going to be shared from for the up and down. So I'm going to go up by 0.5 here and 0.5. If you plus this 0.5, you're going to have 1 inch. So if you are using 1.5 inch, you are going to divide 1.5 by 2 and share it among the up and down. So now I'm going to connect this to this very point. That's 0.5 I took above the bust line. So we're going to connect it here and also connect this what here. We're going to have something like this. So for this line, we're going to extend this line. This is, let's call here 1, let's call here 2, and let's call here 3. So at this third line, which is this part, we are going to extend this line. I'll tell you the reason for that. We're going to extend this line, and then this dart we removed here, this dart that we added here, this is the particular dart. I'm going to take this 1 inch dart and also add it here. This is what we have now. So this dart now, I'm going to add it to this line, and then also add this one dart to this place, to the chest line, because here is already your bust line measurements. So I'm going to add this 1 inch here. The reason for all this addition of 1 dart is because by the time you cut this out, this part now, because when you are cutting, you're going to cut this whole part out. By the time you cut it out from this and you're trying to join the clothes together, if you don't add this one, there's going to be a shortage. If you don't add this particular one, you're going to have shortage of material at this region. So it is very necessary for you to add 1 dart, and whatever you're adding here, you are also going to add it at the chest line at this side. So that is the reason why I'm actually adding this dart here. So we're going to now create a new armhole by joining this line to this line here. So after you do that, we'll have something like this. So after doing that, now you are going to add our body circumference. So from this point now, we have already measured on our chest line, we have already measured our bust and adding our what 1 inch. That we are going to just add our allowance, which is what 2 inches, which is this. So on our waist, you take it down, you trace it down to this place, because it's also the same thing. On our waist now, we have our waist as what 28 divided by 4, we have what 7.5. So we're going to mark 7.5 at this region. We're going to add this dart, because by the time you're going to slash here, you're going to remove this part. we are going to cut off this part. We are going to what, add this 2" that is here, because it's a total of 2", 1.5 here and 0.5, which makes it what, 2". So you are going to add this 2" at this side. So when you add it, you then add what, your 2" what, allowance. Then you connect it together. This is what you are going to have. So to create my neck depth, I'm going to go by a depth of 5". It varies, it depends on your what you want. For me, I would like to go in by 5. You can actually do it 6 if you want your cleavage to show, just depending on you. And we're going to cut through. After cutting, this is what we are going to actually have for the front. Okay, so for now I've already drawn the lines already. I've already gotten the lines. We have the chest line, bust line, under bust, and the half length. So here I've already drafted out other things. So in order to get my armhole now, I'll just have to get the midpoint, which is actually 3.7 here, and then I'll trace it down to create my armhole. I don't have to go in by half any inches because for the back is not inside. The back is usually straight and relaxed. So here for my bust line, I'm going to get my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5 plus 0.5", which is 4. So I'm going to measure that down to my half length. I'm going to connect it. So there are 2 ways you can actually prepare a back for this princess. That you can decide to use the normal basic back bodies, or you can just do your normal princess that back. So here I'm going to just show you how you can go about both cases. So to create your normal basic back bodies, after getting this whole measurement, the next thing you just do is to create a dart here, 0.5 inches for both sides at your waist, half length. So you just connect that. So you have already gotten the dart for the back. So you just have to impute your measurements now. Your waist is actually 28 divided by 4. You have 7.5 plus this dart here. You have to add this dart because when you take your dart is 1". So you are going to replace it here, and then add your 2" allowance at this side. So for the bust region now, you are going to divide 36, which is your bust, divided by 4. You have 9, and add 2", which is this. So you just add, you just join the line. So this is actually your normal basic body. Then you draft your neck. I'll go down by 2" at the back. You can actually go by 1.5. You can actually go 2, but I prefer to go by 2. So you draw your curved line for your neck. So this is actually the basic body, but I do not want to use this normal basic body for my back. This is one of the ways you can cut a back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the princess dart form now. That's why I actually use this white chalk, so that I can actually clean it, and then we draft out our normal princess dart. So to go for your normal princess dart, you're going to take your body circumference, that's your bust circumference, which is actually 9. You take it on the chest line, because when you divide 36 by 4, you have 9". So you measure it out. You have 8.2. 8.2 divided by 2, you're going to have 4.1. So this is actually going to be your midpoint. So from this midpoint now, I'm going to go up by 1 1 inch, because I would not want it to start from here. I actually want to go by 1 point or 0.5, but let us go by 0.5 rather than the 1 point. So I'm just going to connect that here to this one. So you see, this is actually what you just need. You cut it when doing. So now I'm going to get my waistline, because I already got in my bust line. So I'm going to get my waistline, which is 7.5. That's 4 divided by 28 to get 7.5. I'm going to mark that here and add my allowance, which is 2-inch allowance. And you're also going to add your 2-inch allowance at your bust region. So you're going to have this here like this. Then you mark. So I'm going to extend this line now. If you can remember, I extended it at the front part in order to prevent shortage when sewing. So I'm going to basically extend this line at 1 inch so that I can avoid shortage. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, like, share, and also drop a comment if you have any question. Whatever inch I'm adding here, I'm also going to do that on the chest line, as you see me doing so. So now I'm now going to join this point to the same point of the waistline. So I'm going to have this like this. So once you are joining it, it's going to merge together. You will not have any shortage around this side. So from this now, you're going to join this side together to have a new armhole. So this is what you're going to basically have. So we're going to cut through now. So after cutting this is what you're going to have at the end. This is for the front, and then this is for the back, for a princess dart form. If you find this video very helpful, please do not forget to like, subscribe, also share to friends, and turn on your notification bell in order to get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you very much.